All right. Welcome, FONZI. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Is it Monday? It's Monday.
It is Monday. Yeah, last time I checked the calendar, it said it's Monday.
Yeah. And for those listening, today is Wednesday. We are actually at Fun Hiking Live. So if you're listening from Fun Hiking Live in Orlando, come check us out and say hi. Drop us a comment. Drop us an Instagram message, and we'll meet up.
Yeah.
Super exciting. Super exciting to be here.
I love funnel
Talking
hiking.
in the future.
I love funnel hiking live times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always so motivating, connecting with people. That's
4
what
days
it's all about.
Away from the kids.
Let's
go.
that's why we do the whole podcasting thing, to connect with people. And now we're gonna be,
Connecting
in a room with like 4,000 like-minded entrepreneurs. Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
All right. Well, enough said. Today we have a special guest in the room, and I cannot wait because I literally just listened like 15 episodes, and there's a reason. It's amazing, and you got a follower for life now. So,
fun fact: today's guest has been on the show before.
I know.
Yeah. But
one of the top downloaded episodes.
But he's not
as well.
He's not the same. He evolved, and his content evolved, and we're gonna dig into that today. We're
Sounds
gonna
good.
learn all the details.
All right, you ready, Fonz?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
We've got
Hey, I'm Luis.
And this is Luis.
And welcome to the Content is Profit podcast.
In here, you're gonna get the insights, accountability, and drive to create consistently and increase revenue.
You'll hear from top entrepreneurs, creators, and anything and everything you need to know about content. All this while having a good time.
The goal of this podcast is simple: to entertain, educate, and turn your content into profit.
Let's go, baby. Welcome back, everybody, to Content is Profit. I'm stoked today. We kind of talked a little bit about it just like 2 seconds ago. But what are we talking about today, Fonz?
Guys, today we're talking about the state of podcasting. This is actually part 2 of the series of the state of podcasting with today's guest. Does daily podcasting works?
Ooh,
that is the main question we're going to be answering today.
Just a few days ago, I received this message. It's like, hey, Luis, here's the link. Go check this out and tell me what you think. And I'm like, I'm completely obsessed over the last few days. And we're like, we need to talk about this on the show 100% because we've seen some awesome results as well on our side with our show. But it's not a daily show just yet. Just you wait. But with other people that we worked, and it's been fun.
I mean, not just that, or a good friend, JLD, John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneurs on Fire.
Yes, sir.
Right? He has a podcast at the HubSpot Podcast Network as well. He is preaching daily podcasting. So I'm very excited to dive into this and learn a little bit more about the numbers behind it.
All right, so special episode alert. Today we have a great friend here with us. Fun fact, he's our podcasting secret weapon. He's a go-to expert when it comes to podcasting, and he is back in Content's Profit after more than 100 episodes. Let's go.
That is right. Today's guest has been in the broadcasting industry for 40 years, and after working for radio for decades, he decided to venture on his own and build the first podcast studio of North Florida.
If you have been wondering if you should get into podcasting or if this is the right move for your business, this conversation is for you. Today's guest will help you understand the podcasting and make a decision.
And even better, daily podcasting. Let's get this party started. Please welcome founder of Studio Podcast Suites and host of Podcasting by the Numbers, Gary Spurgeon. We salute you, Gary. How are you doing, man? It's been some time. Yeah, it's been some time. 100+ episodes. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. I love it. I'm curious. I'm gonna let my brother dive into some questions.
No,
At
I mean it's
first,
not
you
a
know.
question. The second I heard the new format, right, of this new show, I think it was like Planet Money has a version of like the daily indicator or money indicator, something like that. It's very similar. It was like, but I think they do it once a week, and it's like one number that they go off of, right? And then you're doing this every single day, which is amazing. And I binge listen like 15 episodes back to back, and I'm like, I need to know more. Tell
Yeah.
me more gold.
I think that's part of the power of it is the binge watch kind of like element that this has to it, because again, most people listen when they're doing some activities like driving, right, like mowing the lawn, like these longer activities that, let's say, take you maybe 30 minutes. You can listen easily to 5 4-minute episodes in there, and that probably not only increases your downloads but also increases your ratings and all that stuff. So you did mention that you were kind of like on the fence for a while, trying to implement or thinking about doing podcasting by the numbers. And I'm curious, what was holding you back at first when actually making that decision, and then what kind of like kick you into gear to get it started? Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Um,
Mm, yep.
Gary, I love the fact that you just explained this whole process, right? Because over the last few days, we've been exploring something that, you know, on the coaching calls, on the service calls, and also on the podcast, we've been dissecting kind of like these phases, right? We have the research phase, and we have the creation phase, the production side, and then the distribution, right? So like these are like the main pillars where a lot of people in the productions kind of fall in our world. And I love because we also have the publishing pyramid, right? We talk a lot about the resources, whether that's money, time, to for us to like implement in each one of these areas. And I love how you broke it down. Like I had the research, right? You probably was a lot, yes, maybe a lot of work up front, but it created this flow, this process that now you can follow. And you brought it down from 4 hours to maybe 90 minutes to produce like this 4 minute, very high quality podcast, not only on the information, but also on the production side, right? So I think this gives a lot of people like a good roadmap, like where can they start, right? Like, is this, can I assign the resources? Can I assign the time? Maybe the topic I'm talking about, am I passionate enough, right? Am I actually helping
Mhm.
people and move things forward? So, for those that are listening right now and haven't caught up the other episodes, go back 2 or 3, and that's when we break down kind of like the 4 phases. And we talked a little bit more about the research, like 16 different things that you can, or places that you can go to never, never, ever run out of content, right? You just added 3 more, so 19. Add them to your list. But it's incredible because a lot of people kind of bypass this, or you decide to start creating, and they don't look and they don't take the time to forecast, right, the production. Why do you think that is? And was producing a previous show helped you move the ball forward on this one?
Mm,
That's
wow,
awesome. Let's
that's amazing.
go.
Wait, did you say you just hit 30 days since you launched the podcast? Wow, that's awesome. Is it like 7?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. And Fonzie, I know that you have a few questions. I want to share a quick story. Can I share a quick story?
You're allowed.
Thank you,
Yes.
Fonzie. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. 1 second. 1 second.
And
Gary, you know why he's asking permission? Because on his birthday we went go karting and I won number one on the races. So from now on he has to look at me, up here, and he say, "Please, can I do this and that?" And I'm like,
well, actually,
"Yes,
actually,
yes, you
my,
can."
my my story is it's about that, right? Because like I'm looking at your podcast, I'm looking at your numbers, right? You said 15K and 30. That's very impressive. It took us more than a year to get to 15K, right? Like, and I'm like, this is incredible, right? Like 15K downloads, right, overall on audio. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, different kind of podcast, different frequency, like all these elements, right? And I think a lot of the mistakes that we see in the industry is the comparison, right? Like there's gonna be topics that are gonna be more attractive just right off the bat, some concepts. So what's your audience? Are they actually attracted to that concept? Do they like long form, short form? So all this got me thinking. And like Fonzie said, yes, we went go-karting on Friday, right? And the difference, if you see the difference, like this track, right, is a fast track, is about the top person was like 18 seconds, like the lap, right? And we're doing about low 20 seconds. We're about to hit like 19 seconds. And the difference between both of us was like 0.1 second. And this morning we're at a coffee shop and there's a guy there that he works in the industry, in the racing industry. He's building an incredible company and he's raced before. And we're telling this story and we're like, I don't know how these guys can get 2 seconds like faster than us. And 2 seconds in the racing world is a lot of time. It's very hard to find those especially in a 20-second track. Right. So he goes like, well, there's a lot of elements that come to place, right? Like maybe this guy's a light guy, right? Like how much do you weigh compared to Fonzie, for example, right? So when I told him the truth, he's like, well, you're probably faster because, you're heavier.
That's why he tells himself to make himself feel better.
But then he goes, but then he goes and he's like, well, probably these guys, they've driven for a long time, right? They probably grabbed the best go-kart that's in there, right? Maybe they had a guy like when they launched from the curve, like pushing them to go a little bit faster. So there's all these things that happen to be able to get to that point, and it's all undercover. And because we're not familiar with the industry, we're just getting into like this racing sport. Me especially, right? I'm getting very addicted to it. And I'm like, wow, there's all these elements that we don't see, right? And with podcasting and content creation, that's a lot of that, right? You just named so many elements, right, in your production and on your distribution and on your promotion of the podcast that maybe not a lot of people see from the top, but those all add up to the amazing results that you're getting. And I really encourage people that are listening right now and thinking about producing, or they are shifting or they're evolving their content, into start looking at these elements, these micro changes and micro things that we can do, like, maybe dropping a couple of pounds in my case to go faster and beat Fonzie. But what can we do in our production to continue to add up, right? Just recently with our podcast, same thing, right? Obviously the numbers have been growing a little bit different after 3 years, but with shorts, for example, we started putting shorts out there. They racked up a ton of attention, right? We're like, oh, this is an element that we should be adding consistently into our production schedule and our team. So I love that you're breaking down this for us, and hopefully people can see beyond just the download and everything else that has to do with that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. We're big fans of leverage,
Yeah.
and
What I got here is that we need to start marketing podcasting to the Swedish. No, okay. Ah, there you go. There you need to do
we did not know
a
that. That's
Swedish episode.
good.
Um, yeah, that is absolutely amazing, and I love how you are tracking all these things.
I
You're
mean,
very
you're already kind of Swedish with the hair
my
color.
blonde hair. It doesn't look blonde in here at all. I love the discipline behind it and how you have been approaching this. And the first time that we had you on the show, you were actually producing a different show, more on the local side of things, right? You would talk to local business owners, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm curious, are you still doing that, or are you just doing the podcasting by the numbers? And what has been okay? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Is that the podcastingbythenumbers.com? That's amazing. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So from the, what is the contrast between those two shows that you had, right? I feel the other one you were talking, right, to build relationships within the community and then potentially, get these people to come to the studio and whatnot. But the daily, right, podcasting by the numbers, I'm guessing you have another plan. Obviously, we know there's contrast in the production side of things, but what other things have you seen? So maybe somebody that's on the fence on whether do I want to make a interview based show or longer show, or should I go with a daily type of podcast, right? What is that contrast in there? Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. That's great. I love
I
how you're
just
making it entertaining as well. I think that's a huge factor for people to, come back actually.
I just put here maybe the new headline for the show: How to make your dream client salivate with your podcast. There we go. Follow Gary's advice. No, I love this. Right, we talked about this many times about the power of market research data. Right, it's so important. Right, and obviously you do 100% of attribution to whatever you get that information to. But at the same time, it's like you have this top view on for us about content in general. Right, podcasting is a part of what we do, absolutely, of course, just the main platform that we handle, but we see it as a content ecosystem, and that's a really important part. So we've been kind of building on the back end also these places where we can find that market research every single day. Just I think the episode that came out on Monday, right, or today if you're watching the video, it was about Instagram and TikTok, right, and that was a whole market research episode, and we commented all of it, right, and what that does to the audience, right, for those like listening, is hopefully, right, we position ourselves as a in a place of authority, and people can refer to you on the podcast as a person, as a business, right, to move things forward. So I love that you base off of this, and we have a person that we work with, Amanda Holmes. Her whole company works on something called a core story, which is based on market research, right? And the reason I'm putting this out is because when we first started, we were heavily relying on stories, right? And it gets to a point where you have to evolve and look for different ways on how to maybe present the stories also backed up by that market data, right? So that has been a transition that we've been playing with, and see how we can evolve the content. And for those listening, we would love to hear any feedback, right? Absolutely. There's some like the emails that you get, right, like that director, that's highly valuable for him, right? That's going to be an important part of his day, and then you're going to impact not just him but so many other lives, right? Which is why ultimately we like to publish and put content out there. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, cold email galore.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
I love it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna say you put a picture of us in there.
I know. For those that are a little confused, we speak Spanish. Just saying, it not even our accent. Sometimes. No, I love it. I
Wait,
feel
wait,
like
wait. Sorry, I interrupted you, Gary. I'm sorry. I just wanted to plug in the joke in there, but keep going. Yeah.
yeah. Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What I was gonna say is like you tackle this like this is your work of art, right? This is the thing, and I think this is what's wonderful about content, right? There's so many frameworks out there, so many structures, and of course, like it is useful to maybe start with some of those, and but we're big fans of developing your own thing, developing your own platform, like your own system, your process, right? And what you've shared with us today on this like second show has been like that, and you care about it, right? And so if you're in a company and you're looking to start something like that, or you're trying to figure out like who to bring in house to produce something like this, try to look for those indicators, right? Like who's somebody that's going to take this to the next level, right? Like update every single podcast cover, like of course it's going to catch attention. That those micro changes are making a difference into this, or it's going to change it. What makes you different, right? That question, like the deal on the advertising like you had with the podcasting bureau, right? Like there's all these little things that we can get very creative. And it's like,
Hmm.
okay, if you're whenever you're considering, for those listening, right, either what's that's you that's producing it, what are the things that you can do, but if you are hiring, what, like these are questions that you can ask those teams that you decide to bring on, right? Like what are you going to do different? There's a lot of things that are pretty standard, like on distribution side of things, but that what's going to set you apart. And I think these are great examples on good
Yeah.
indicators that people can use.
Yeah. Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's a That's a good point, right? A good golden boulder, what we call right there, is the secret of the trade. I'm pretty curious, Gary, on how are you driving listeners? How are you promoting the podcast? Right, besides maybe your social media, are you doing any ads or any other type of marketing, or do you think most of the downloads are coming through? Because you have a really good name for your podcast, right? Podcasting by the numbers. Do you think that is driving a lot of the downloads where people, find it and they're like, huh, let me check it out. They see that one episode is 4 minutes. Let me give it a try. Why not? And then they start downloading multiple episodes and that just kicks you up the ranks and then more people can find you. What do you think is helping you with your downloads? Mm,
Mm. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
We've seen the platform. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I love the strategic approach to it.
Yeah, I love the reach versus effective reach. We had a very similar experience with our
Mhm.
first like paid podcast campaign, and this is a heads up for anybody that's wanting to do that, right? Like just like sales, right? We present our message out there, whether that's a ad read, whether that's a podcast, like a podcast, a full podcast that you're pushing, but you're trying to sell on that audience that probably never heard of you. They're seeing you for the very first time to go to the next stage, which is listening to your podcast regularly, right? And we ran the campaign twice. And I think with the company that we work with, I mean, it was a very positive experience. Don't get me wrong; like it was a great learning experience. But at the same time, there's room for opportunity, like you mentioned, right? Normally, what they say is like there's something between 3% to 5% stickiness on the podcast. We personally did not see that the first time that we ran it. We ran it for full episodes too. There were longer episodes as well. So it depends on that as well. But the second time, it kind of stuck. But at the same time, it's like, okay, are we comfortable investing that amount of resources? But it was over a period of like 2 days. It was one day, full downloads. And I had the same question that you did. And I think it's because we are in this industry, right? It's like, hey, I want to invest this money, but I want continuous, like I want it to run for like 30 days, maybe less intense of downloads, but I want to be presented to the same audience, right? What's cool is if you find a platform, right, that you might have the power to build this audience. For example, we ran this on our lives a while back on Facebook. We started putting just a few bucks behind the live stream, and we started building an audience on the back end that could watch the video repeatedly. Right? It's like it takes between 3 or 8 times for them to make the decision, be like, hey, should I actually listen to this? So there's a lot of repetition that needs to happen. They need to see your face many times if it's video. They need to listen to your voice many times, right? And it worked for a while, right? So and people were transferring, and we're trying something similar on social at the time. Just last month, John Lee Dumas in Entrepreneurs on Fire, we had a massive lift. It was because he every single day, right? He was putting our podcast, our name, right in front of the audience, right? And the people that are interested are gonna move, and hopefully, if the content is relevant and it helps them and it serves them, then that's gonna help kind of stay with us. But those are the things, those are the indicators. And I love that you brought this up because not a lot of people talk about this in the podcasting world. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. He's probably above $60,000 a month, maybe. Oh, number of ads.
I'm gonna go with the 5,000 that you did for yours, or the 10,000.
Hundreds, 100 commercials.
Yep. Ooh. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be pretty cool if the platform Buzzsprout could determine which ones are kind of like the 3 podcasts that a person has in their circuit and literally put your ad in all 3. So when they go from one to the other one, now they're listening like, man, like all these podcasts are promoting Gary, right? Yeah, that'll be. There you go. There you go. Let me know how their meeting goes.
So, Gary, this has been so fun. We have a few questions left for as we wrap up, but from all the stats that you've shared and all the data that you've shared in your podcasts, have there been a few that really stuck out and be like, oh my gosh, like this is a game changer thing that I just found out about podcasting or the industry that I'm sharing, right? What are some that you remember that you're like, it can be really useful for people in this world, apart from all of them? Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. I play all my things at like 1.7. I was like, all right, let's go.
I'm
I'm
part
gonna
of
have to try it
that
out.
too. Mm,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm. It'll be interesting to dive in on the reasons, right?
yeah,
Like why is that a thing, and kind of go down that rabbit hole. I think it'll be feel interesting. Every of these stats is gonna spark so many thoughts, right? And I hope that a lot of people here from Content's Profit go and check out Podcasting by the Numbers. It's been amazing, Gary. We respect you so much. It's amazing. Your studio is top of the line. If you're in Jacksonville, you have to go record there, and then send us, do Gary do his magic, and then send us the content, and we'll take care of it and do our magic here at BIZBROS. But yeah, Gary, anything else that you want to add before we head out?
yeah.
Abs- Let's go.
Nice.
Let's go.
Let's
And it's
go.
gonna be possible. So if you see an uptick of like 10,000 today, that's definitely Content's Profit. Yeah. Fonzie, anything else you want to add?
Nah, just thank you, Gary. Really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to our lunch without my brother. Yeah.
It's all good. No, I'm not jealous or anything. But anyways, guys, and I think that's the episode. That's the
Yeah,
episode.
that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much for tuning to the Content's Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite social media channel and podcasting platform, and at BIZBROS Go on social media.
That is
said.
right. And
That's
if
what I said.
today's episode, Gary helped you move one step closer towards your goal, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.